Shabbat Shalom, everybody. So good to have you with us. We're here. We're going to be davening through our Shabbat morning service. We're taking these moments to just take a step back from the week and all the stresses that the week might have brought on for so many of us, just to enter into some of that peace of Shabbat and to join together in prayer. Wherever you are, we're excited that you've logged on and that you're following along with us in our Siddur. And of course, take these moments not just to pray the words of our service, but to offer your own prayers as well. As we say before the Amidah, Hashem Sefatai Tiftach, God, open up my lips. Help me to find the words in prayer. And even if you haven't prayed in a while, take these moments just to seek and to search your heart and to find some words as we call out together. And in that spirit, I'd like to call upon our cantor to lead us in a spiritual and uplifting nigun, to get us in the energy, in the right ruach before we begin.
Thank you, Rabbi Dermer. Shabbat Shalom, everybody. Oh, say Shalom, Shalom bimromav. Yaseh Shalom. Oh, say Shalom, Shalom bimromav. Yaseh Shalom. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu. Behar Yisrael. Ve'imenu Amen. Yaseh Shalom. Shalom Aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imenu Amen. Lai 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 ya lai 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 la lai 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 hu ya shalom aleinu.
May the one who makes peace in the heavens grant peace and Shabbat rest to all of us this Shabbat. As we turn to the middle of page 105, we'll begin together. Shochein Ad.
Shochein Ad Maharam V'kadosh Shemo.
Shochein Ad Maharam V'kadosh Shemo V'chaturanenu tzadikim Adonai.
V'yichanim Halal V'divrei tzadikim titbarach U'vileshon Hasidim titromam ובקרב קדושים תתקדש ובמקלות ובכבוד עמך בית ישראל. שכן חובת כל היצורים לפניך אדוני אלוהינו ואלוהי אבותינו, להודות, להלל, לשבח, לפאר, לרומם, להדר, לברך, ללרקה, להישא לכל דברי תפילות ותשבחות. דוד בן ישי, עבדך משפחה.
On page 106.
ישתבח שמך לעד מלכנו.
אל המלך הגדול והקדוש בשמיים ובארץ כי לך.
ברכות והודות מעתה ועד עולם, ברוך אתה אדוני, אל מלך גדול ותשבחות, אל ההודעות אדון הנפלאות, הבוחר בשירי זמרה, מלך אלפי העולמים.
Amen. And now as we turn to page 107, the bracha in the middle of the page.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, yotzer or uborech choshech, oseh shalom uborei et hakol.
Amen. Shabbat shalom, everyone. It's good to see all of you, or be seen, I guess. Today I'm in the CJL, banished from my home for a few hours because the grandchildren are coming. I didn't want to have the atmospherics. But what I do like to hear, the atmospherics I would love to hear, would be El Adon on page 108.
El Adon, al kol ha'masim, baruch umevorach befi kol neshama, gadlo betuvo, ma'alei olam, Da'atu tevula sovelim moto, Amidah al chayot hakodesh, v'nedor b'chavod al hamerkava, zechut u'mishor lifnei chiso, chesed v'rachamim lifnei chevodo, tovim me'orot shebara Eloheinu, yitzaram b'dat v'rinau b'maskel, koach u'gevura natan bohem, li'nochotim b'kerech tevel, mele'im tiv u'mefi kisoda, no'ezim b'chol olam, b'chol olam, Eihim b'teitam, v'satim b'choam, osim b'yema, retzon konam, v'chavod, notnim lishmo,
Sahalaveri.
Aneteicher malbuto, kara l'Hashemesh, vayiz rachor, ravitin surata levana, shebach no'ovim lo, Seraphim me'ofanim,
Kodesh. As we turn now,
Yafeh.
110. Yafeh me'od. Titbarach tzurenu.
וכולם פותחים את פיהם בקדושת דהרה ושירה וזמרה, ומברכים ומשבחים ומתוארים, ומעריצים ומקדישים וממליכים
את שמו אליו.
שם האל המלך הגדול הגיבור והנורא קדוש הוא. וכולם מקבלים עליהם על מלכות שמיים זה בידי זה ונותנים רשות זה לזה להגיש ליוצרם מנחת רוח בסופה ברורה וברעימה קדושה כולם כאחד. אומרים בירה. קדוש, 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 אדוני צבאות, מלוא כל הארץ כבודו. והאופנים וחיות הקודש ברעש גדול, מתנסים ליומת צרפים ליומתם, משבחים ואומרים ברוך כבוד אדוני במקומו.
אור חדש על ציון תמיד.
אור חדש על ציון תאיר, ונזכחו לו למהר לאורו, ברוך אתה אדוני. יוצר המאורות.
Amen.
Let's sing a Havat Olam together, page 111. Abo Rabo. Abo Rabo Avtanu, Adonai Eloheinu, Chem Lagidol Aviteinu, Chom Aleinu, Avinu Malkeinu, Ba'avur Avoteinu, Nevotu Behar, Nevotu Behar, Avinu Malkeinu, Vatelamdeim Chukei Chaim, Kein Techanenu V'Telamdeinu, Avinu HaParachamon, Amerachem Rachem Aleinu, V'tein Belibeinu Lehavin, Lehavinu Le'askin Shmoa, Lilmod Le'afed Le'lasot, ולקיים את כל דברי תלמוד תורתך באהבה, והארנו בתורתך ודברינו במצוותיך, והייחד לבבנו לאהבה ויראת שמך, ולא נבוש לעולם ועד, ולא נבוש לעולם ועד, כי בשם קודשך הגדול והנורא נגילה ונשמחה כשבועתך. והביאנו לשלום מארבע כנפות הארץ, ותוליכנו כל מיעוט לארצנו, כי הם בו אל ישועות אתה ובנו בחרת מכל המלשון, בקרבתנו לשמך הגדול אצלו באמת, להודות לך ולייחדך באהבה, ברוך אתה אדוני הבוחר בעמו ישראל באהבה.
Amen.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad. ואהבת את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבבך, ושילנתם לבניך ודיברת בם, בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם ליד על ידך, והיו לך טובות בין עיניך, וכתבת על מזוזות ביתך,
Now the second and third paragraphs of the Shema. Matati asa b'sadecha.
וכתבתו ובדרו בישעריך למען ירבו ימיכם ויריכם על אדמה שנשפט על אדמתכם ותזרחם מהשמיים על הארץ. But we join together on the top of page 113 with our tzitzit in hand as we pray together the third and final paragraph of the Shema. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe Behar דבר אל בני ישראל ואמרת עליהם ועשו להם ציצית על כנפיהם דורותם ונתנו על ציצית הכנף פתיל תכלת והיה לכם לציצית וריתם אותו וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני ועשיתם אותם ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי אליכם אשר אתם דונים אחריהם למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותיי והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם אני אדוני אלוהיכם אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים להיות לכם לאלוהים אני אדוני אלוהיכם אמן אדוני אלוהיכם אמן בדור ודור ושמו קיים בחיסון נכון ומהותו באמונתו לעד קיים
דבר ועל דורותינו.
מלכנו מלך אבותינו גואלנו גואל אבותינו יוצרנו צור ישועתנו הודנו מעשר מעולם שמך אין אלוהים זולתך
עזרת אבותינו אדוני
Avotenu. Leading toward the prayers of Micha Mocha and then toward the Amidah.
Romani Sagadov and Rama Yogi will be a Shifal Motia Simon for the Rabbi Gozer Daniel and Rabbi Shabamela. Taylor Yon Baruch Mevorach Moshe Moshe Yisrael Lechanu Anu Shira Besim Faraba Besim Faraba Ve'amru 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 Olam Besim Faraba Besim Faraba Ve'amru 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 Olam Mi kamocha ba'elim Adonai Mi kamocha ledar b'kodesh Norat eilot O sefer Shira chadasha shibechu geolim L'shimcha sevat hayam Yachad kulam hodu v'himlichu ve'ameru Adonai yitloch le'olam ba'ed Tzur Yisrael kuma be'ezrot Yisrael U'kereinu kecha Yehuda be'Yisrael
Amen. Let's look toward the words of the Amidah for inspiration as we reach out to God in prayer this Shabbat. We'll turn to page 115b. Cantor will lead us in the opening blessing, and then we'll take moments to offer our own prayers as well.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avoteinu Elohei Abraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor Vehanora El Elyon Gomer Chasadim Tovim Vekonei Hakol וזוכר חסדי אהבות, ומיין מגואל לבני בניהם למען שמו באהבה. מלך עוזר ופוקד ומושיע ומגן, ברוך אתה אדוני. מגן אברהם ופוקד שרה. אתה גיבור לעולם אדוני מחיי מתים, אתה רב להושיע, מכלכל לחיים בחסד, מחיי מתים ברחמים רבים, סומך נופלים ורופא חולים, ומטיל אסורים, ומקיים באמונתו, Yishene Yafar Michaloch Al Gemurot Umido Meloch Melech Melit Umechaye Umatzmiach Yeshua V'neman ata lehachayot metim Baruch ata Adonai מחיי המתים. ישמח משה מנסחל, כל כי אבן המון קולות אלוהים.
Well, I think we're ready to go on now with our Torah service. I feel like singing Lecha Adonai Hagdula V'Hagevura V'Hatiferet V'Hanetza V'Hahod Ki chol bashamayim u'ba'aretz lecho Adonai hamlacha v'hamitnaseh lecho lerosh romimu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu leha romimu Adonai Eloheinu v'hishtachavu leha kodsho ki gadol Adonai Eloheinu.
Thank you so much for singing that, Rabbi. As I was looking through the services this morning and thinking special things I would sing, I looked right to the Torah service and got right to Romamu and said, gosh, I miss singing this.
Me too. And I knew
Thank
you
you.
missed it.
Especially.
I knew we all missed it. But I'm in the CJL. I'm at the Torah reading table. And it gives us an opportunity to spend some time now together studying two parshiot today, Behar, Behukotai, because this is Shabbat Chazak. It's the Shabbat that we complete reading the Sefer Vayikra, the book of Leviticus, and it ends with quite a crescendo. I must tell you that one of my favorite chapters of Torah is chapter 25 of the book of Vayikra. There is so much in it, and I know, Rabbi Dermer, we prepared what we were going to talk about, but as I was standing here today, I said, how can you not talk about this? And what is this?
I'll
tell you, because it's so apropos. So the Parsha really talks about issues of fundamental justice and fairness for all human beings. And one of the things it talks about, one of the halachot, the mitzvot, is the law of the Shemitah year, the sabbatical year, when after 6 years of working the land, you're supposed to let the land just be still. You don't plow it, you don't cultivate, you just let the land be. And hopefully what you grew in the sixth year would be enough to carry you over to the seventh year. Torah does something really incredible. It says the following. So it says you should plow for 6 years, you'll grow for 6 years, the seventh year, you'll rest. But then there's an internal dialogue. It says, and if you'll say, what shall we eat in the seventh year? Because we can't sow, we can't gather in our increase. So here our ancestors were worrying. We got a whole year. How are we going to get food, right? Does it sound like what we've been living through? You think I could get it on Instacart? You know, how long would I have to wait? When are the senior hours in a store? How are we going to get food? Well, they were worried about that too, but they had to worry about it for a whole year. And the Torah says that, don't worry. I'll bring a blessing, God says, on you in the sixth year. The sixth year, your crop is going to be really, really a bumper crop. And it's going to take care of the seventh year as well. And you know what's wonderful about this? Maybe not for our ancestors, but there's something that they experienced. They experienced worrying about food. Worrying about food. Would we have food? And think about it. For that year, they lived with the mindset of people who were impoverished, who worry about, do I have food, not just for 1 year, but for years after year after year. And when you think about what we've gone through, and we continue to go through, is we're all of a sudden worrying about something that we never had to worry about. Are we going to have enough food? Are we going to have enough? They worried about it. We've been worrying about it. And if we can't get at the Instacart, what are we going to do? Well, it gives us an opportunity to think for a few minutes, to empathize, because that's what this parsha wants us to do, right? To empathize with the plight of people in this world, the plight of everybody who is vulnerable. And remember, what we're experiencing for a few months, and we have it pretty good. because we figured this all out for the most part, at least for now. And hopefully it only gets better from here. But there are people in this world who do this day after day, hour after hour, for every day of their lives. Are they going to be able to put food on the table for their children? And it really does cause you to pause and think about that. Not just the Parsha, but the Parsha's alignment with our current situation. What are you thinking?
Yeah, I always imagine we can live in two different modalities in life, with a mentality of scarcity or a mentality of abundance. And the scarcity mentality is the mentality that tells us, oh, we'll never have enough. We need to constantly get more and feel safe in that way by taking way too much. And the abundance mentality allows us to kind of step back and do what I think the Torah wants our ancestors to do during the Shemitah year, which is trust that there will be enough, and trust that there will be enough for everyone. And if it's not the case that the system is equitable and there isn't enough for some, we need to actually do the work, the justice work of making sure that there could be enough. But I was thinking about that issue that you raised from the Parsha, just in light of some of what we've seen in the initial reaction to this crisis, some of the hoarding that we've seen. And, the people who ran out and bought 50 rolls of toilet paper and 200 cans of tuna fish were living in that scarcity mentality that, God forbid, I'm not going to have enough. I need to make sure that, and it's almost a selfishness in a way, not to put too much guilt on people who've done that, but that I need to make sure I have enough, and everyone else, well, they'll dog eat dog, they'll figure it out. When really what the Torah is telling us here is we should strive to live with more of that sense of abundance, that there will be enough for us and for everyone, but we have to be aware of the other as well. And we can't let that selfishness creep in. And when the Torah actually dictates, we need to practice that. I mean, we practice it in our own way today in the land of Israel, different perhaps than how it was practiced historically, but an entire year of practicing that mentality of trusting that God will provide enough. And also the second piece of the justice piece of making sure that enough is evenly distributed.
Right. And, it's just funny. When I was looking through the Parsha, I said, my God, this is exactly what we've been asking. Am I going to have enough food? Am I going to have enough? And there is something, there's a lot to what you said, but in some way, we've got to be able to say at some point, I have enough. There's that dialogue between Yaakov and Esav, where they when they meet each other after that long separation, and Esav says, Yeshli Rav, I have enough. Mm-hmm. I have enough. And who has that mentality today? Torah is saying to us, leave something for the next guy. Leave something for the next person in this world. It isn't true that the person who dies with the most toys wins. Okay? You can leave something for someone else. But right before that, there's a pasuk, there's a verse that I think may be one of the most important verses in the Torah, easily so. It says the following. It says, V'lo tonu ish et amito, v'yareta me'elohecha ki ani Hashem Elohechem. You shall not wrong another person, but you shall revere God because I am the Lord your God. And what does it mean, lo tonu? What does it say? Well, there's ways of wronging people, multiple ways of wronging people. One way the rabbis talk about is to wrong someone in words. Ona'at divarim. To say something that is wrong, that is just, it wrongs someone through the words that you speak. And I was talking to you earlier on, we were texting, earlier this morning, and one thing that has me so upset because it is so wrong. I know that there is a tension in this country between opening, not opening, how much are we opening? But what troubles me is when those who are protesting so vociferously to reopen the society accuse governors and legislators of being Nazis. You hear this all the time. They accuse them of being Nazis because they took precautions, abundant cautions, because they believed, and many still believe, that's the way we've got to do to secure the best interests of all. But to use the term Nazi in describing a governor, in describing a legislator, who I believe was doing it in the best interest of society to shut it down, to me is wrong. And I'll tell you why it's wrong. Because I think it is a wrong done to those who suffered because of the unprecedented cruelty of the Nazis. These people who use the term Nazi so freely, so loosely, without understanding what the Nazis were. How wrong they are to the people who suffered the most brutal regime in all of human history. To say that a governor is like the Gestapo, do they have any idea what the Gestapo was? What it was like to live with the Gestapo? They couldn't live with it for a minute, they would be too weak. And you know who else it's an affront to? It's an affront to all of those who fought the Nazis. 15 million soldiers were involved in World War II. How many died to save the world from Nazism? Because they knew it was an evil that couldn't be compared to anything else. And these people who have no appreciation of history, who have no understanding of what history is about in terms of World War II, they go and they say, you're Gestapo-like tactics, you're Nazis. And to me, that's ona'at devarim in a modern day form. No. How dare they? How dare they?
Yeah.
It's such a shame that it trivializes the Shoah in such a horrible way. And when you think about ona'at devarim, wrongdoing that has to do with words, well, it spreads and it adds to more wrongdoing. It spreads like wildfire. And when other people see these protesters using the horrible imagery of the Shoah, that actually sticks in their minds, and it can fan the flame, so to speak, of anti-Semitism when those pictures are then spread online and seen by thousands, hundreds of thousands of eyes. That's really one of the dangers of ona'at devarim, of wrongdoing that has to do with words or speech. That's not true of other wrongdoings. They spread so quickly, and once it's out there, once that image with the sign, with the swastika is out there, it can't be taken back. It can't be taken back. And so there's really, the only way to fix it is by speaking out against it with our own words and making sure that our own words are holy words, but are words of real reproof, of tochacha.
You know, it's interesting. I'm sorry, Cantor. Were you going to say something?
I was just going to say, you guys have inspired me. It's true. Everything you say is right on. It's also like putting a stumbling block in front of the future blind, because when you call out, when you use these terms for that which they don't fit for, it's like crying wolf, and people become desensitized. Then when you actually have someone who might be in that position in the future, what word do we use then? So
desensitized. Yeah.
And remember how that pasuk, how that verse ends. It says, "V'yareta," you shall not wrong someone else with words, and you shall fear the Lord your God. And meaning that it's sending a message that you want to show your reverence for God. If you want to show you're a righteous person, if you want to do that, then treat your fellow human being with justice and goodness and fairness, and don't harm that person by words. It's really a remarkable text when you think about it, that you don't see mitzvot attached to God's name directly very often in the Torah. This really puts up a signal for us. This is important. God is putting his imprimatur on this. You don't use your words to harm another human being, because God is at that point offended by what you've done. And God has an anticipation that you'll show reverence to God by showing reverence to human beings.
What's the name of the parsha, the first parsha that we're learning? Behar, on the mountain. We're thinking about Mount Sinai. And the image of Mount Sinai reminds us it's not just God, it's not just us lifting ourselves up toward heaven, rather it's heaven being brought down to earth. And the idea that God is concerned with bringing God's presence into this world and concerned with the things that happen in this world, justice, fairness, and how we treat another. It's amazing that the book of Vayikra, a book which is concerned with holiness, would focus so much just on the interactions between human beings and the mundane interactions between us.
It's as though God is saying, if you want to love me, if you want to prove that you love me,
look around at each other.
You got to be good to my children.
Yeah.
That's what God is saying. And that should be the yardstick by which we judge religiosity. You know, that should be the yardstick. If you want to show you love God, then love God's children. And if you can't love God's children, then you got to question really how much your righteousness takes you, how far it takes you. It's Shabbat Chazak.
Yeah.
We finish Behar Behukotai, and we say, if we were reading Torah, we would be saying, as we concluded, Chazak, Chazak, Benit Chazek. Be strong, and let's strengthen one another. And I'm just wondering, there's a lot that we need to pray for strength about right now. What are you thinking about that, Rabbi?
Well, I had looked up one of the verses from the parasha that talks about how we help each other, in particular, how we help someone who's really down and out. Because Behar focuses a lot on people who are struggling immensely, struggling financially, struggling in other ways. And actually, there's a verse that uses that same Hebrew root as the word chazak, the word for strength. V'chi yamuch achicha, when your brother is low down, it's really down and out. It says, v'hechazakta bo, you shall strive to carry him or her, to lift him or her up. But really, if you want to be literal in that translation, to give that person the strength so that, God willing, they can regain their strength and then carry themselves again, so to speak. And we are charged with looking around at the people and finding the people who are feeling low, who can't make it on their own, so to speak, and giving them that boost of strength that they need in many different ways. And it's financial in the Torah, but of course, spiritual and emotional strength are a part of that picture as well.
I'm glad you brought that up, because there are two things there. First of all, we still use the expression. You know, sometimes a friend will call me and say, I need a little chizuk, right? Chizuk. You hear that? I mean, you've heard that. Chizuk means, let me tell everybody, chizuk means I need a little strengthening. I need you to talk me through this issue. I need you to help me. Strengthen me for this. Give me some chizuk. It's really an amazing term when you think about it. Because when we say we don't say to a friend, if we really know, I need your help. I need chizuk. I need your support. I'm going through a tough time. And the other part of that is achicha, the use of the term achicha, that these people you should consider part of your family. All right? You'll see that in Behar, everybody who is vulnerable, the have-nots, the people who are in need, are not just people. They are described as your family. Yep. It's a family affair.
Yep.
You've got to help family. You must. Yep. And then, God, I'm sorry.
No, that verse even takes it in a more radical way. It says, Ger v'toshav, the person who is a stranger, the person who you might not necessarily identify with or even recognize yourself in, still that person you should consider to be family in some sense.
So it's Shabbat Chazak, and I'm just looking to see how much strength I have left on my iPad. So I have a little bit of strength
Enough
left.
juice to get us through Musaf.
I hope so. It would be really terrible if the rabbi expired, during Musaf.
Chalila v'chas,
So
chalila v'chas.
anyway, but let's remember that, everybody. It's a time to give chizuk to everybody around us. Chazak, chazak, v'ni chazek. And I think in terms of this parsha, what it's saying is, in terms of our principles, our visions for the world, our understanding of what we can do in this world, our ability to make this world a better place, let's be strong. This world needs every one of us all the time, but especially now, to make it a better world. And we need to be strengthened in that resolve to do that, to play that irreplaceable part that we can. I often quote that statement that says, I think it's from the Hasidic world, that God created each one of us because God believed that there was something unique that each one of us could do in this world, that there was something left undone until we were born. So let's think of it that way, that we have the strength to be that person that God wanted us and hoped we would be, because we were an irreplaceable part of his world, of God's world. So, chazak, chazak, Rabbi Yashikoach, Cantor Yashikoach. I'd like to include the Mishabeirach today, right, for the Cholim in our families, the Cholim, those who are ill in our community, those who are ill in our world. There are far, far too many of them, as we know. And we offer them our chizuk. We offer them our strength through prayer. I had a conversation, I shared this, I think, with you, Rabbi Derma. We had someone in the congregation who was ill, and the family member called me to tell me, and you know who I'm talking about. And I said, look, we'll make a Mishabeirach, but do me a favor. Let her know that we're saying the Mishabeirach, because that says we're sending you chizuk, we're sending you strength. And the story is, true story, I only tell true stories. The story is that message was conveyed to the person who was ill, and that person cried. Person cried to know that the community was praying for well-being, for health. That chizuk brought that person to tears. And I found that very touching. And it's really a message to all of us that maybe we should let people know we're saying a Mishabeirach for you. That you're in our prayers. Because I think that gives that kind of chizuk that might tilt the scales a little bit in terms of giving that person that extra measure of energy and fight and resolve to push back against an illness. So let's turn to the Mishabeirach for Cholim, and we'll pray, we'll hope and pray that all who are ill will receive our chizuk, our strength, and have a refuah shalema, healing of spirit and body. Mishabeirach Avoteinu Avraham Yitzchak v'Yaakov Sar Rivka Rachel v'Leah Hu Yivarech v'Yirapeh et HaCholim. Please take a moment to mention the names of those you're praying for, those who are really in your hearts. HaKadosh Baruch Hu Yimalei Rachamim Aleihem Lachzikam L'Ropatam V'Yishlach Lehem Mehera Refuah Shalema Min HaShamayim Refuat HaNefesh Refuat HaGuf B'toch Shar Cholei Yisrael V'Nomar Amen. May God, who blessed our ancestors Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob, Sarah, Rebecca, Rachel, and Leah, bring blessing and healing to all of those who suffer illness in our congregational family, in our families, in our community, in our world. God, may you restore them to health and granting them physical and spiritual well-being with all who are ill. We hope and pray that a healing is at hand, and we say, Amen. Amen.
Amen.
How
Rabbi,
about
if I
Rabbi
may,
Derma, would you like to lead the prayer for our country? and then we'll go on to the prayer for Medinat Yisrael.
Sure. We're on page 148 in the Siddur. Join along with us. Our God and God of our ancestors, we ask your blessings for our country, for its government, for its leaders and advisors, and for all who exercise just and rightful authority. Teach them insights from your Torah that they may administer all affairs of state fairly, that peace and security, happiness and prosperity, justice and freedom may forever abide in our midst. Creator of all flesh, bless all the inhabitants of our country with your spirit. May citizens of all races and creeds forge a common bond in true harmony, to banish hatred and bigotry, and to safeguard the ideals and free institutions that are the pride and glory of our country. May this land under your providence be an influence for good throughout the world, uniting all people in peace and freedom, and helping them to fulfill the vision of your prophet. Nation shall not lift up sword against nation, neither shall they experience war anymore. And we say amen.
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 Page 149, Avinu Shebashamayim, Rock and Redeemer of the people Israel, bless the state of Israel with its promise of redemption. Shield it with your love, spread over it the shelter of your peace. Guide its leaders and advisors with your light and your truth. Help them with your good counsel. Strengthen the hands of those who defend our holy land. Deliver them, crown their efforts with triumph. Bless the land with peace and its inhabitants with lasting joy. And let us say, Amen.
Amen.
You know, this week coming, we're going to celebrate Yom Yerushalayim, Jerusalem Day. It is the most recent wonderful day on our calendar. You know, next Shabbat we'll talk about it, but my memories of being in Yerushalayim, I'm so sure you have those memories as well, on Yom Yerushalayim are just days and memories of beautiful uplift. And so we'll talk about Yerushalayim next week, next
Maybe
Shabbat.
we can get a live stream from the Kotel.
I think we could do that. I think we could do that. So let's go on to page 151, Ashrei, and then we'll turn to our Musaf Amidah.
Ashrei Yoshvei Beitecha Yahalelu Chasela. Adar Kibor Adar Adar Vosel Asir Bezodar. Ma Hudo Ma Hoteach et Yadecha Mashbir Lecho Chayrot Son Teila Adonai Rabbeinu Bivarech Tovos Osim Kodesh Leolam Vaed V'anachnu Nevarech Me'ata V'ad Olam Hallelujah.
Well, we'll return the Sefer Torah to the Ark. Oh, I can't wait till we can do that again.
Amen.
And let's look at our Musaf service, page 156b. And then we'll continue on silently through the prayers of our Musaf service. And as we say, don't make your prayer keva, don't make it just mechanical. Add something to it. Take a few minutes. Say something that comes from your heart and your spirit. Cantor, we await your melody as we begin Musaf together.
Thank you, Rabbi. Yes, Koach. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu, Elohei Avoteinu, Elohei Abraham, Elohei Yitzchak, Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagimor v'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, V'konei Hakol, V'zocher Chazdei Ahavot, U'mevi Goel Livnei V'neihem L'mahan Shemo Be'ahava, Melech Ozer U'Foked U'Moshia U'Magen, Baruch atah Adonai, Magen Avraham ufokei tzara. Ata gibor leolam Adonai, mechayei meitim, atorav leoshia. Mechalkel chaim bechesed, mechayei meitim berachamim rabim, somech noflim rovech olim matir asurim, umechayim umunot lishenei afar. Mi tavoch among emunot, umi dameloch, melech memit umechayeh umatzmiach Yeshua, venemonato lehachayot meitim. Baruch atah Adonai, mechayeh hameitim. תלמידים כסדרם ומוספים כהלכתם. מיום השעה בו שני חבשים מן שונות עמים ושני אסורים סולס בין חברו ושבן נזכור. עולת שבת בשבתו עלת התמיד ונזכור. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם, סלאם. סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם, סלאם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו, עוד יבוא שלום עלינו ועל כולם. שלום עלינו ועל כל העולם, שלום, שלום, סלאם עלינו ועל כל העולם, סלאם, שלום.
Let's turn to page 182, Ein Keloheinu.
Ein Keloheinu, ein Kadonenu, ein Kemalkeinu, ein Kemoshienu, Eloheinu, Adonenu, Malkeinu, Moshienu, Dodel Eloheinu, Dodel Adonenu, Dodel Malkeinu, Dodel Moshienu, Baruch Eloheinu, Baruch Adonenu, Baruch Malkeinu, Baruch Moshienu, Atahu Eloheinu.
Aleinu.
Aleinu לשבח לאדון הכל, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחותו אדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהם, וגור עלינו ככל המודם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, שהוא נותן שמיים ועושה ארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממש. ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו
Well, Yashikochachem, Rabbi Cantor. A pleasure to be with you in this way. You know, it's lonely in this building. My God, is it lonely in here. But the day will come. Od Yavo Hayom.
Yeah, right.
We got a big week coming after Shabbat. We have Havdalah with Cantor Varshavsky, with Heather, the family, and then Sunday night, the sing-along at 7:30. A whole week of programming, too much to go through, but hopefully you'll join us many times along the course of the week. Rabbi, anything you'd like to share, Cantor?
We have Yom Yerushalayim coming up, so look for that. And always such a joy to see everybody on Zoom. Of course, we're eagerly awaiting the day when we'll be joined back together in person in this jail in the sanctuary, but really great to see you virtually as well. And if you have any ideas for other programs that you feel might give you some extra chizuk, some extra strength, let us know, and we want to do everything we can to help hold you and support you through this time.
Beautiful, beautiful. Cantor.
Yeah, I just wanted to wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom and tell you we're going to change things up a little bit this week for the sing-along. We're going to have a little bit of a dance party, so put on your dancing shoes and give yourself a little space. We're going to do a couple of simcha tunes and ruach music, and you can sing along, dance along. We'll just make it a lot of fun, especially if you have any kids want to burn off some steam. Set up the machine, and I'll play a bunch of songs for them. So I hope to see you guys on Sunday night. We'll sing, we'll dance, we'll make it a little fun. Change it up a little this week.
Sounds lovely. So why don't we conclude with Adon Olam, okay? We'll do that. And we wish everybody a Shabbat Shalom, a good week to follow, a healthy week, and we look forward to seeing you many times between now and next Shabbat. Adon Olam.
Amen. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, Le'etnasa B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. Adon Olam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra, Le'etnasa B'chefzo Kol, Azai Melech Shemo Nikra. ואחרי תכלות הכל, לבדו ימלוך נורא, והוא היה, והוא הווה, והוא יהיה בתפארה, והוא אחד ואין שני, להמשילו להכבירה, בלי ראשית, בלי תכלית, ולא העוז והמשרה, והוא אלי, וחי גואלי, בצור חבלי ביצרה, והוא ניסי, מנוס לי, מנת כוסי ביום אקרא, בידו עקיד רוחי, ביתי שן והעירה, ואם רוחי גבייה Mating, Adonai Livelo Ira, Adonai Lam, Asher Malach, B'terem Kol Yitzir Nivra, Eit Nasa, Betzon Kol, Azai Melech Nemo Nikra.
Shabbat.
How about a blessing?
Oh,
Adonai oz li amo yitain, Adonai yivorech et amo v'shalom. May God grant his people strength, oz. Adonai yivorech et amo v'shalom. And may he grant all of us shalom, the gift of peace, now and for all the days yet to be. Shabbat shalom, everybody. Be blessed.
Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat shalom.